So we're joined by Fiona Worts, originally from Nottingham. Fiona started her career at Leicester City and has also played in Norway, but she is known for her successful time in the A-League, with two successful spells at Adelaide, with a goal ratio of almost a goal every other game, and winning the 21-22 Golden Boot, as well as the Julie Dolan Award for the best player, which also, of course, won the A-League title with Sydney. She's now the number 9 at wkleague Incheon. So, Fiona, let's just start with the origins of your career. Was football always the goal? It seems that you've had quite an open mind as to your future.
No, football wasn't really the goal. I enjoyed playing it when I was a kid, and I was generally quite good at it. And the thing my dad and I always used to say was, just play at the highest level you can for as long as you can, sort of assuming at some point something else would take over. And then I ended up playing professionally, and I'm still doing it.
Excellent. So actually, we'll call you Fiona BSc. You got that maths degree, right? But actually, during that time, you took a gap year, and that was obviously a very significant one in your life.
My year in Australia. Yeah. Well, it wasn't technically a gap year. I was still studying. Because I went over to Australia and studied in Adelaide. But yeah, it was quite significant. I think it sort of changed my perspective on what I could do. I was playing with players who were playing two professional sports or just working full-time jobs and still being a part of the game. So it definitely inspired me to try and do both for a while.
So you break into the Leicester team, then you go through Coventry and Fulham, but what prompted the actual move to Adelaide?
I loved Adelaide when I was there studying, and I knew at some point I would go back and didn't know when and didn't know why. But it was just a bit of a difficult time where my job didn't want me playing football, and Leicester City released me on the same weekend, and it was one of those where you're like, okay, well, I've got a choice. What do I want to do? And I got a random message a few months later to say, do you want to come and play NPL football in Australia? And it was just like the perfect time to take that risk and go, I'll go focus on football and just see what happens.
Okay, so I've talked to several players before who've made the bold decision to make a leap to another country. But as a woman, I don't know about your perspective. Like, did you have agents and contacts in Adelaide already, or did you just go there by yourself?
The first time I went was as a student, so in that year I made some contacts myself. I played for a team, Adelaide University, whilst I was at university there, and it was a contact through that brought me out to play for Fulham. So I did go out with knowing I had somewhere to live and knowing I had a team to play for and had a small amount of income. So I did have a safety net, and of course I already knew a few people and some players there.
Okay. So as a young female player, do you find that you have to juggle more responsibilities with with working and playing football more so than perhaps as an apprentice in the male game?
Yes. I think this and in Norway really are the first times I've been able to play without working on the side. My whole time in Australia, I was working for visas, working for money. The contracts weren't all year round, so working in the off season, those kind of things.
Okay. Um, of course, just one side thing as well in your career. So you went to Norway for on loan. Why was that? Because you were scoring goals in the A League at the time.
Well, the A League was going into their off season. So we finished our season. My season in Adelaide. I knew I wanted to return back to Adelaide, but you're facing it was like nearly 6 months of an off season with no income. I didn't have a visa. My visa was expiring, and I didn't have the right to stay without finding some sort of creative solution. So then, the best thing to do was go and find another professional league to do that.
Right. So these are challenges that we really don't think about enough. I think when it comes to developing a women's game, especially for advising young players. But just out of interest, I'm here in Korea this evening, of course. Why did you move to Korea?
I guess a couple of reasons. Again, I was in a similar situation in Adelaide. The season was coming to an end. It hadn't finished yet, and I was looking at a 4 months off season. I didn't have the right to do any other work in Australia. Financially, that's incredibly difficult. And how do you, deal with 4 months unemployment, basically? So that was a part of it. And then the other part of it is coming here. I'm on a full-time contract for, the whole year round. Financially, it's a better situation. I, have other benefits being a foreign player. And it really just made sense. The club of interest, so they really wanted to have me, and it was a good timing, really.
Okay, so obviously you've taken such a pragmatic approach to your career. What would you say to young girls developing in like their teens, etc., who are reaching at the point where they may make decisions about the future, etc.? What kind of advice would you give them?
I think just don't narrow yourself off too much, and just try and give as much as you can into all the opportunities you have, because you never know which one's going to end up giving you the things that you really want. And yeah, just throw yourself in and take the opportunities as they come. And even if you have an end goal in mind, the route to get there might not be as straightforward as you think it is, and just take the opportunities that feel right and when they come.
Okay, excellent. Okay, well, thanks for joining us, and take care.
Thank you.